If you have bought one of the new Surface devices, you know that they are really good to use with the slim pen, but the writing feeling is not quite the same as writing on paper. And also the screen can be quite reflective. So I decided to explore if there were any great screen protectors that felt like paper, and I have with me a few that I bought from Amazon. Let's see which ones work the best. In the past, I have used this one, the Adeway screen protector on my previous Surface Pro 9. This time around, I wanted to test out a few different ones, so I've ordered a couple more. Specifically, I'll be testing each screen protector out on how easy is it to attach, how good is it at cutting out glare, and which one has the best paper-like feel and produces the least amount of artifacting when writing. All right, let's get going. Okay, for this one, I am only going to be testing the first two. The Adeway one, I'll link to the video so you can see what that one was like. That was my default one that I was using, so that will be the baseline that I'm comparing against. I'm going to start with the first one, which is Timovo. Okay, let's install this one. We have a little instruction sheet. We have the cleaning pads. Inside we have alcohol prep pad, a guide sticker, dust stickers, make sure that the screen protector is nice and flat, some more alcohol prep pads. So enough for both screen protectors. Okay, just on first application, it's a little bit finickier to put on than the Adeway one was, but I have to say that the glare reduction is immediate. This is so much more readable as compared to before. Now, just having a feel of it, it feels paper-like. It's probably a little bit less textured than the Adeway one. Now, let's actually use the pen and let's draw something. If you use the pen at a bit of an angle, it does feel grippier. This is definitely smooth when I write on it on the glass itself in the little camera cutout area. So it feels kind of like rubber on rubber. It's a little bit grippier. It's not quite like paper, but if you write on it without an angle, it feels closer to paper. So there is a texture, but it's not as prominent. The other thing I noticed about this is that the camera cutout, it's outside the lens area, but it's not exactly where it should be. Let me zoom in. So see just there, actual screen protector covers a little bit of the camera cutout area, which is not a big thing. It doesn't cover the lens itself, but if you look right at the bottom, that's as far to the edge that I can take it. You almost can't see the edge as compared to the edge of the device. In summary, the Timovo one is a little bit fiddlier to install than the Adeway one that I've been using in the past. And if you use a normal writing grip, then it does feel a little bit grippier on screen to write. If you write on it with the slim pen tilted a bit more straight on, it does feel closer to paper. Now, as you can see, it is textured, but it's a little bit less so than the Adeway one. And as I go to remove it, you'll notice that this is a plastic film rather than tempered glass, which the Timovo one was. And as mentioned before, the cutout is a little bit less precise. That said, the glare reduction was good, and it is a nice screen protector. So this time around, it is the Keanboll. It doesn't actually say paper-like feel on any of this, but the Adeway didn't either, and it was quite a good one. So let's get this one on. The packaging is definitely nicer on this one. This does say paper. And it comes with a QR code for the video installation and has a nicer cleaning cloth and everything. So we still have the dust absorbers. This looks almost exactly the same as before. For the second one, a little guide, a little wipey cloth, and the wet wipes themselves. Okay, let's try that again. This one seems to fit better on the template. I am right down to the edge. It doesn't quite cover the lens as much, and it seems to be ever so slightly different. Okay,
From the outset, it looks pretty identical, I have to say. The texture is slightly rougher, so let me try it with the pen now.
2,000 years later.
Now, having used the Keanboll screen protector for a while, I think that the ease of use of putting it on is about the same as the Timovo. I actually found it a little bit easier, but that's probably just because I put on two back to back. The texture itself is a little bit rougher, that is closer to normal paper. When I go writing on it, it's a little less grippy, so it doesn't give you that rubber nib on plastic sort of a feel. In terms of glare reduction, they are pretty much similar. It does definitely reduce the amount of reflection back, but because it's a matte surface, you don't get those deep inky blacks as compared to the original screen. But the trade-off against the reflections is genuinely something I would take any day of the week. You might notice that you get these little wiggles when trying to draw a straight line, especially when trying to use an object like a ruler. And I've tried this without the screen protector on, and you still get these little wriggles. And I don't think it's to do with any sort of accuracy issues. I think it's just the material of the Surface Pen. It catches the edge of whatever you're trying to use as a ruler, and you get these little wriggles. When you actually freehand draw straight lines, it's fairly straight. I think by now you can tell where my preference for the screen protectors is. Even though I started off with the Adeway one, my personal preference is that of the Keanboll. It is a plastic film, so it's not going to be as rigid, but it is easy to put on. It provides sufficient glare reduction, and it has probably got the best texture I've used so far. Now, a little note on glare reduction. None of them have scored perfectly because whilst it dissipates the reflection so that it's less noticeable, it is still there. I would have historically thought that there's nothing you can do about that. But ever since upgrading to the new Samsung phone, I now know that you can get screen protectors that actually reduce the glare substantially more. And maybe one day there will be a Paperlike screen protector with that function. But till that's the one thing that I wish all screen protectors would improve. So there you have it. The links for all the products that I've talked about are down below. And if you'd like to see the original Adeway review, that will be up over here. See you in the next one.